Today on Let's Talk Crimes, we're going to talk about accessory after the fact. Now, this is a really interesting topic because I feel like this is something that a lot of people can find themselves, getting in trouble for, and it's something that could really come up a lot. So, Frank.
Welcome to Let's Talk Crimes with Frank again, accessory after the fact. I'm going to start with this. It's a very serious offense, and the seriousness depends on the offense that you are an accessory to. Accessory after the fact, the simple language is anytime anyone assists or aids anybody else who committed a crime to avoid detection. These are the very important words. Aid to avoid detection or arrest. That person committed accessory after the fact to a crime. Now, you can commit accessory after the fact to a homicide. You can commit accessory after the fact to a burglary. You can commit accessory after the fact to a domestic violence crime of aggression.
Man, so even if, let's say, it's my own father, or like let's say I live with my dad and he's growing marijuana in the house, and just because he's my father, I want to help him get away. Is that still? Could I still get in trouble for that?
There are two things that are important to answer that question. When I speak a lot in these programs, I'm always going to refer to Florida law. Keep in mind that Florida law sometimes is similar to other states. In Florida, there's something interesting about that. There is an exception to the accessory after the fact law. If you're an accessory after the fact to someone who committed a third-degree felony, there is an exception, and you will not be prosecuted if it's your father, your mother, your husband, your sister, or your brother, or your grandsons. Now that's interesting because what do? Do you ask the offender, excuse me, what level degree or what degree of offense did you commit? It's very difficult. I think the way it will pan out, you will probably be arrested first, and then when it goes to the state, if they realize that the actual offense is a third-degree felony, you won't get prosecuted. But there is an exception in Florida, only when it's a third degree.
So if it's not third degree, and let's say it's a first degree, would my penalty be a first degree as well?
Your penalty will be accessory. We'll title it like this. Let's use a homicide.
Okay.
And these are cases that I've represented, and I'm going to give examples because one of the things that I want to accomplish with Let's Talk Crimes is give real life examples so that hopefully many of you watch this and don't get involved in these things. If you, let's use a homicide, and if a person comes to you, and this is a real case without names, an individual is in a club with his friends. The individual goes to the car first, prior to his friends, to pick up the car. When he gets to the club, they all run out. They get in the car. One of them has a machete that is full of blood. It's in the back seat. He has no idea what happened. He drives them away. They got his tag. Detectives call him the next day, and he lies. They asked him if so-and-so was in the car, if he was in a certain location, and he lied. Well, he was an accessory to the fact to a homicide. So the penalty for him is, in accessory, you always get 1 degree less than the actual offense. If the person that committed the crime committed a first degree felony, then your penalty will be that of a second degree felony, and so on. If the person committed a second degree felony, your penalty will be that of a third degree. It's a little confusing at times, and I try to cramp it in 5 minutes, but I think I accomplished the general answer.
So is this something you see often, at least with your practice?
I see it. I don't want to say often. I've represented it many times. It's very common in young kids. Kids get into, and I say kids, it could happen to anyone, but I've seen it in let's say people under 30 years old. They get into trouble. They run to a friend's house. They don't explain to the friend exactly what happened, but they ask for help. At one point, they tell the friend what they did. Police officers come looking for the person. Then they ask the friend if he went to him. And everybody has a tendency to help friends and lie. Once you do that, you're an accessory, and I have seen it. It's common.
Now this sounds like a lot like aiding and abetting. Is it the same thing, or is it similar to that?
People confuse it all the time. Accessory after the fact requires your intent to aid for the purpose of that person avoiding an arrest. Aiding and abetting, folks, is the charge itself. It's different. It's not a charge. Aiding and abetting is what they have to prove that you aided and abetted somebody else in committing a crime. If they prove that, you're charged with the actual crime. Period. Under the principal theory. Armed robber goes to a bank, robs a bank, shoots a person. The person that drove him is charged with the armed robbery under aiding and abetting, and therefore under the principal theory. I hope it explained it. I try to do it in a compressed fashion. These are very difficult concepts. You're always welcome to go to Let's Talk Crimes gmail.com and ask me a specific question as to an episode that I already covered. You can go to our Facebook and page it, and I'll do my best to answer it in a compressed form. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't get arrested. I'm going to end it with that. Do not get arrested. It ruins your life and that of your family. Have a good evening again. See you at the next episode.
What you gonna do?